Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to Let's Try Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. This is a game that does basically what it says on the tin. It's a sort of a business simulator game where you play as a car mechanic. This is our garage, I suppose, and we get calls in. People have problems with their cars, they bring them in, and it is our job to diagnose and fix them. Now, I'm relatively early in experience here, which means luckily the vehicles will be mostly analyzed for me before I start playing. So let's go ahead and take a phone call here. Check it out. We've got a number of jobs. Some of these I can't quite do yet because I don't have enough experience points to sort them out at this time. But I'm going to grab this job here to work on a Reno Piccolo over here, which requires an engine change plus general running gear control and repair. And they do have a list provided of things that have to be worked on for these various things. But you can see a variety of different jobs going on over here. So we're going to go ahead and take that. And again, because these are easier jobs at lower level, there is going to be a list of specific problems, things that have to be repaired and replaced for me, which is good because I would be very hard-pressed to start diagnosing those problems because I am not particularly a car guy. So here's the car we have to work on. See, there's a bit of corrosion on some of these wheel hubs as is, but that's not our particular problem. Graphics look very, very nice. Quite a few graphic options that I can show off in the main menu later on, maybe, if I remember and if we have the time. So if I go over to this car, you can see in the top left corner the controls scheme changes depending on if I have focus on the car or not. I can open the repair order, for example. So I have two major jobs. One is to change the oil, the engine oil and filter. So the specific list of faulty parts found over here, because again I was supplied with the list. Change the oil, replace the oil filter, no problem. And then general running gear control and repair. And again, because this is a low difficulty challenge, it's got a specific list of things that are non-functional. To repair the vehicle to satisfaction, I have to make sure that all the parts exceed the minimum condition of at least 62%. So these are all things that I have to get going with. So let's go ahead. Let's take care of the first job as is. You know, it might be efficient to work two things together, but I'm still learning here. So let's just work on the oil change by itself. So first thing we're going to need to do is get under the car. And I have two lifts over here. The right one's already occupied with the vehicle that I picked up an earlier job here. I haven't started working on it yet, but we're going to go ahead and put this vehicle on the left lift. So I'm going to go ahead and move it right over there. You'll notice there is also a test path that we can use that can help us diagnose problems, for example. So the vehicle is now on here. I can pop open the lid of the car, and if we go ahead and the lid of the car. Wow, I'm such a car guy. And we can check the current state of the oil if we want by going ahead and disassembling, quote-unquote, the dipstick. So you can see the engine level is relatively low, and it's also black oil. New oil is golden in color. So yeah, they clearly do need an oil change, no doubt about it. But yeah, I have to get underneath the car to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and punch lift, get it to go up here, and we'll get up under the car. Okay, so when you're mousing over here, left click will let you examine a part, which A, puts you in the sort of X-ray mode, but also will refocus your view. You can sort of pan around like this and look at different areas. And once you've got something focused on, you can use WASD to just sort of orbit around that part and have lots of different angles to play with. Now, our particular interest in this case is going to be A, the oil filter, and B, the oil itself. This is the oil pan here. We don't actually have to replace it, though, luckily. However, we do have to drain the oil. Now, if I were to just pull this plug right now, all the oil will drain onto the ground. Now, unlike a real car, I think in a real car, you've got to open up the cap at the top and then open up the one at the bottom to really allow it to leak out properly. But in here, you don't have to worry about that. However, and this is the first deficiency of the game, is there not really a tutorial to let you know about something. Is if you just pull this plug, it'll put the oil all over the ground, and you'll be dinged $100 to clean that up because it's an environmental hazard. And it's actually not explained properly in the tutorial in the current patch version that I'm working on. It sounds like it's something they're going to work on. So what we need to do is we need to get this oil drain catch, which actually starts off way over here. That was problem number 2. Once I was like, okay, so we need to drain the oil, no problem. Where do I drain into? Well, way over here by default, there's a little thing sitting here. It's actually, I've moved it because of previous repairs. It's right over here, but it was so far out of the way. Like I kept looking over here. I'm like, do I have to click on a toolbox to gain access to stuff? There's some ability to upgrade some things, which is very cool. You can actually repair parts as well. There's a repair bench over here that you'll be able to repair existing parts instead of having to simply purchase new ones. But for now, we're going to grab this oil drain and move it over here. That brings us to step 3. So I brought it over here. I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll stick it under the car and sort of, I don't know, drop it off here. And I still missed. So this is going to be the first time I'm hoping that the drain will be set up correctly, because apparently the sort of trick is move your mouse all the way up, line yourself up so that the actual drain plug is right around here. Is that just me, or is that like the least precise way to place something in existence? And it doesn't look to me like it's right underneath, but that's what one of the guides said. Let's see here. All the way up. Move it to... Maybe we'll line it up properly. Hit escape. Look down. Hopefully that works. Alright, so we're in normal mode. We're going to go ahead and pull out the drain plug. Hey, I didn't get the $100 penalty. There we go. So we're going to drain out all the oil. Very nice. Now I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to grab this this oil drain and just move it out of the way. Like so. I don't know if I ever have to empty it. Doesn't look like I do, which is nice. Okay, so the oil has been drained. That's step one. We also know that we have to go and replace this oil filter. So the normal mode here is in disassemble mode. So what if I click, well, of course, if I click on an object, it just centers my view. If I right click, you can see it says disassemble part. So I'll do that. I'll remove that oil filter. Now we need a new one, so I'm going to go ahead and order a new part from my computer. Luckily, delivery is instantaneous. If we go here and we clear out the search, for example. So this is the computer where we order parts. We've got the car part shop. We've got the body part shop. Excuse me. The wheel shop. And you can also take out a bank loan, which we're going to try to avoid. So what we need is we need an oil filter, which we can search. It's very handy. And specifically, we're looking for the R4 version of the oil filter, which is what this car uses. So we'll go ahead and purchase a new one. I do have an inventory over here. These are bits and pieces that I've removed from previous cars. I can actually sell a bunch of these. They're pretty low quality. I'm not going to want to put them on a new car. They don't really have the capacity to repair anything right now. Oh, that old oil filter was 0% condition. So yeah, we'll definitely trash that and just keep the new one over here. So we're going to go and click on this general area over here, pan down, so that's where the oil filter goes. So if I go to assemble mode, which is the 2 hotkey over here, I can go and it'll put a ghost view, this sort of whitish view of any parts that are missing. So I'll go ahead and put that on. It'll show me every part of my inventory that can fit there. Obviously, just the one that's left. If I hadn't sold that old filter, it would have been in the list, but obviously I want to put this one with 100% condition, and we'll get that installed. Okay, let's take a look at our work order now. So we've got the new oil filter. That is done to satisfaction. We do have to change the oil. So to do that, we're going to lower the car. It's a little inefficient because we're going to have to raise it up again for the second part of the work order, but that's okay. One job at a time. So to replace new oil, what we have to do is examine the engine. Here's the oil fill plug over here. We just have to disassemble it, which isn't necessarily the exact correct wording, but yeah, we'll unscrew it here. Now we've got the oil can. So what I do is I click on the oil can and it'll start to fill. Now at some point it'll tip up, and then if I wait a second or two, that's apparently the optimal time to stop filling. 1, 2, there we go. If you keep going, it'll go until the point where it starts bubbling over, which is fine. You're not hurting the car, but it doesn't actually need that much oil, so you're sort of wasting additional money. Let's go ahead and exit out of that, and let's take a look at the dipstick now. Remember, it was pretty low and relatively dark. And if we look at the dipstick, right in the middle of the sweet spot, all golden, fresh oil. Fantastic. And we check here, the entire engine oil and filter change job is done. But they're having problems with their front shocks and steering, their steering arm, and the wheel hub bearing, presumably all on the same side, but not necessarily. So for this, we'll have to get the car up again, and you can see actually right away, there's quite a bit of corrosion on this end of it. Now, some of that is the knuckle, which I don't think we actually have an order to replace, do we? Oh, we do. Yeah, so it's almost certainly going to be on the passenger side of the car over here. So let's go ahead and pump that up. And I don't know what that is. That is, oh, yeah, that's the front, the shock absorber from the other side. Okay, so both sides need a little bit of work, and definitely we have to go and get the car up. So let's go and do that. I do like how shiny the car look. They all look perfectly clean, which doesn't quite make sense given how like horribly beat up the cars are underneath here. So we can go to the examine mode at this point. And again, because someone has already completed the examination, all the horrible parts are highlighted in red for us. If we go and do an examination of another member, you can see here it's 70%, it's highlighted in yellow. This one's green, we know it's 100% condition, but it's all the parts in red that we're going to have to replace. So that includes over here, that top bit. So let's go back into assembly mode. We'll remove, okay, we can't remove the front shock absorber. That's because something else has to be removed first. And it's usually highlighted in red. I'm actually not understanding Well, the shock absorbers are already red, so that's that problem. Oh, I'm in assemble mode. Derp. There we go. Disassemble mode. We're going to get rid of that one. That's not a problem part. But down here is, right? This front knuckle here. And I happen to know this is going to take a lot of work to get to. Yeah, it's a 3% condition, so we definitely have to get rid of it. So the first thing we have to do is remove the tire, actually the rim, the wheel rim itself. So we do that, and we have to unscrew these screws. So we'll do that. We have to just hold down the mouse on top of each one, remove each one of them, and that will remove the rim. So now, we still can't quite get to the knuckle. We can see the things highlighted in red, so we have to remove this front shock absorber. Well, to remove that, we're going to have to remove the top cap and the spring. Not the spring? What am I missing here? Oh, we have to remove the sway bar. There we go. And now we can remove, whoops, this shock absorber. Ah, interesting. I guess the spring might be connected to a slightly different part, so we don't have to worry about that. We're still trying to get at this knuckle, which means we're going to have to remove the lower suspension arm and take off some more screws over here. Now can we get at the knuckle? Not quite yet. We've got to remove the outer tie rod. Now, I don't know how different various cars are going to be. Okay, we still can't remove it, and that's because if we pan around here, you can see we've got to remove a bunch of bits, which is basically going to require us to remove the entire brake assembly. First, the caliper, then the brake pad, then the brake disc, followed by the front wheel hub. No, we need to remove the... What do we have to remove first over here? To remove this, we have to remove that, which removes... Take off the axle. There we go. Now we can get rid of the bearing and the hub. And finally, we can get rid of the knuckle. Now, if we drop back into examine mode, do we see anything else that might be red? I don't think so. I think we've removed everything that is horribly, horribly damaged. So now what we have to do is we have to buy some new parts. I want to make sure to check our work order. So we're going to have to buy a front shock absorber cap, steering knuckle A, suspension A, wheel hub bearing. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. So we've got the suspension cap. I guess I could have typed in cap. Oh, is it not suspension cap? Shock absorber cap. So we need one of those. I know we need knuckle something. Front A is the version that is on this vehicle. And I can't remember what else. We bought the knuckle and the cap. Suspension arm A, wheel hub bearing. Suspension arm A, wheel hub bearing. Suspension arm A, but going to be front, right? Uh-oh. What am I forgetting? Let's check the bearing. Wheel hub bearing, we need that. Damn it, what's the other thing? Arm A? No, that's just rear. We don't have to do the rear one. Shoot. My memory for these things is terrible. Oh, wait. Oh, we do have to replace the rear suspension arm A. Oh, hold on. Let's take a look over here. I'm going to examine mode. Right over there. All right, so we'll go ahead and buy it. Boom, 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 boom. Obviously, it's the weekend. My mind is elsewhere. All right, let's buy that. Okay, we should be able to start assembling everything in the front now then. Examine, we're going to go to assembly mode, so it will go into ghost mode for everything that's missing. And luckily, mercifully, it only shows you what you can put in right now without any other prerequisites. So you don't have to worry about putting things together in the wrong order. It'll always let you do it in the way you want. So we're replacing some things with slightly lower quality bits, but... or some of the bits we're putting back are not terribly high quality, but it's not part of our job to actually replace that. All right. We can put the absorber cap back on. We'll put a fancy one. Technically, we could have put the one that was there again, but that's going to be okay. Actually, I'm not sure that is. So, what am I talking about? Look at this. So, we're back in assembly mode. There we go. Right, this is the absorber cap that was on this side. We're replacing the one that was on the other side with the new version, but I think we're probably okay. Let's replace this disc over here. What else can we replace right now? The suspension arm. Screw that back in. And it will not let you release the car if there's anything missing. And it will tell you the missing part, again, mercifully. So you don't necessarily have to go looking all over. So we'll screw all this stuff back in here. Then we will have to take care of the back. I'm pretty sure we're missing some stuff. There we go. The bearing, the brake pad. Actually, did I not miss the ventilated thing? Hang on. I might be lying when it says it doesn't let you put things back together in the wrong order. Unless I already put it back on. Oh yeah, it's there. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was worried for no reason. I'm pretty sure it doesn't let you put things in an order that is invalid. There we go. Axle C. Screw that back in. And what is missing right now so that I can't put the tire back on? Or the wheel, rather. We can check our inventory, I suppose. Oh, there we go. Tie rod. If we check our inventory, assuming you're pretty good about selling things once you don't need them anymore, you'll always be able to see what still needs to be installed because it'll be sitting in there. Right? If I go here, some of these are shot. We don't want them anymore. The rear suspension arm we're going to replace, and then we need to put the front shock absorber cap on the other side. So if we sort of shift our focus over there, shift up, install that, put the new one in. Okay, so we're done all our work at the front. Now we've got to go look at the rear of the car. So right over here, yeah, we can see all the corrosion. So what we want to do is disassemble this, which requires us to remove the spring cap and the spring. Now you can see that the way the rear suspension is assembled is different. There we go. This one's much easier to get to than some of the others. Luckily, we don't have to remove the entire tire, so that helps. Go to assemble mode. Put that bad boy on. Hopefully we're using some new bolts. Spring cap. Spring. And shock absorber cap. Alright, let's take a look. There we go. We've completed absolutely everything. We can finish the job. We'll earn 833 bucks. Parts were expensive, but we had enough money to pick them up without any loans whatsoever, and they do pay the cost of that. There we are. We've completed that job. We've gotten some extra experience points. Wonderful. Let's go and take a look at what we need to do with this car over here. Car is hard to control. We've got to replace the sway bar rear end link. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to go and get the car up on the lifter for that. And actually, I suppose we could order the replacement part right now. Although I need to have the work order open for a sec. Sway bar rear end link. So we want sway bar rear end link. $26 part. Pick that up. Now, the game does offer a few other things. For example, I believe it's possible to purchase cars at auction and then repair them, which is kind of a neat thing. Sway bar rear end link. Oh, it's right there. Can I get to it directly? No. What do I need to remove first? Ah. Alright, we got to start with this. There we go. I'm worried it's going to require removing... Oh, no, just the tire. That's good enough. Excellent. So now we go to assemble mode, put the new one back on, put the one screw back in. Seems odd there's only one screw there. I think that the game does simplify things. I don't think they'll tell you exactly how to repair your real car, but it does give you a bit of an idea of what's going on everywhere. Alright, and if we check the work order, we are completely done. We've made $52 on that job. Well, that's a pretty minimal one. I'm not going to make the bucks, but we also earned a little bit of experience points, which is nice. I think we need 1,000 to be, yeah, before we can upgrade something, which is a little too bad. Let's see if, let's do one more job. check the phone over here. So I've only got 2 jobs I've got the experience for. One is general engine control and repair. Another one is replace all filters. Well, we already did a fuel filter. Let's see what this job is on the Royale Bianco. I've only done a dabbling number of jobs, which I think can be evident by the amount of XP. This is, of course, a let's try. Therefore, it's an early sort of first impressions kind of look at the game. Yeah, the bank loan. I'm sure there's a way to get cars at auction. I can't remember what they all are. You know what would be fun? You want to take this car out for a test drive? We can do that. I think it's at the other end of the bay. That's parking. We can keep some extra cars around. Actually, let's go out to the parking. Let's see what's there. No! All right, we don't have parking. I think that'll allow us to have extra cars kicking around. Maybe start on our auto sales thing. Test path. Oh, we can't unlock that too. That's really unfortunate. So I can't go. There's the phone, so new job has just come in. You don't have to answer it when it rings. It's just going to stay in the queue. Okay. So again, because this is an easier job, we're told right away what the problem is. The throttle, the R4 throttle, and a timing belt needs to be replaced. So I guess we may as well go ahead and purchase those parts right now. I guess we're more of like almost more of an apprentice right now. Some other master mechanic has already figured everything out. What was it? Timing belt? Just a basic one, right? It was undefined timing belt. Worst case scenario, we have an extra part. We could sell it for at a loss or just keep it around. There we are. All right, pop the hood. Let's take a look at the engine. Examine mode. So we can see right over here the intake manifold. The throttle itself needs to be replaced. So we should be able to pull that off right away and install the new one. Boom. And then the timing belt. I've got lots of belts around. Which one's the timing belt? Serpentine. Timing belt cover. Well, there we go. Oops, I gotta remove this, which requires me to remove these belts, which requires me to remove the belt tensioner. All right, then we can remove the serpentine belt. No, gotta remove the belts in order here. Still can't pop that. Crankshaft pulley. All right, a bit more involved. The water pump. I guess that's part of the cooling system. Looks like the idler roller needs to be removed. There you go, timing belt cover. The timing belt would probably control all the the pistons and the camshafts and things like that. Yeah, see, we can keep disassembling the entire engine if we want, but we'll stop at the timing belt. And no reason to make our life harder than it needs to be. We'll replace it with the brand new one. Yeah, that was at 8%, so it's like cracked and snapped and really not working. Put the cover back on. And I think we'll have another job well done. So this is an early first impression. I know that we're not looking at a lot of the features, such as the ability to diagnose car problems ourselves, paint cars, buy cars at auction, which you can make some money at. Some people, I've read some posts of people talking about ways to be sort of a shady mechanic where you grab new parts or good parts from one car, replace it with kind of crummy parts, so that you can deck out your purchased auction cars with the best possible parts wherever possible. As long as you keep sort of a minimum quality when you repair someone's car, they're going to be okay, as long as their car sort of runs when it goes out, which is, so very, very shady. I feel like I'm still missing something. Maybe not. Can I ship this car out now? Ah, it would. Again, it would have let me know if there was something missing. So there we go. Completed yet another job. Replace all filters. Repair all running gear faults. Oh, the gear system is such a pain to work in. I don't think I want to show that here. It just takes so much work to go through everything. But anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at Car Mechanic 2015. Of course, there was also a Car Mechanic 2014, and possibly others, I'm not sure. But it is available on many websites, including Steam. I'll have a link down below where you can find it if you're interested in these sorts of car games. And I don't know, I'm not into cars, but I like things that are sort of nerdy and involved and intricate and make me feel like maybe I'm learning something about cars. There you have it, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.